Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David, reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the decline of religion and ultimately the loss of faith amongst the world. All right, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and read this. This is 2 Timothy 3:2. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Now, there was an article that I came across today on Zero Hedge titled, "America Lost Its Religion. Church membership plunges below 50% for the first time." Now, we're going to read this article, but before we get into that, let's talk about that scripture we just read. Right? It was told to Timothy that in the last days, which is what we are living through right now, that there would come a particular type of people, right? Scoffers that had all those traits that I had just read, right? A form that would possess a form of godliness, right? And is that not how it is today? Are people out there not out there calling themselves good people, right? They believe that they're doing, good by the Lord because they love everybody, right? That they let everybody, live their own truth, right? They don't condemn anything, including any wickedness, right? And if you do come out with that, then if you do come out and speak out against wickedness, then it's the same people out there that say that they're for God only that are out there telling you that you're disgusting and that you're being hateful, right? These are the same people who have no understanding of what the Bible actually speaks of, because what they've been raised upon was religion, right? And again, if you're just running into these videos and you're just running into what the whole Hebrew Israelite truth is, and you haven't found out yet, religion is a man-made false doctrine, right? Every religion on earth is false, okay? This Hebrew Israelite thing of ours, it's not a religion, okay? It is simply a lost heritage, okay? To clarify that, what I mean is that the Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians are not any of those names I just called them, right? They are the ancient Israelites of the Holy Bible, and the Bible itself is simply their ancient history book, which also contains the laws which they are supposed to live by, and that we are supposed to follow, right? Including there's in the Bible there's prophecies that we are to watch out for in these end times, right? Just like that 2 Timothy scripture I just read to you, right? About in the last days would come all these wicked people, right? Well, that's happening now, like I just said, right? And besides, you having people out there who think they're in God's good graces, they're simply a product of this environment. They are victim of circumstances, okay? And what are those circumstances? Well, we're going to read it right now in this article. These are the circumstances that have been put on the earth by the devils that run this earth, right? And when I'm talking about the devils that run this earth, I'm talking about the so-called Caucasian race, also biblically known as the nation of Edom, the nation which was foretold to be in power and ruling the entire world through its wickedness, through its military power, and that would also have the world upside down morally, right? And that would attempt to fight against the Lord when he comes back, so that way they could stay in power, right? And in also doing so, that they would try to also kill off the seed of the Lord's children, right? That being the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native Indians. Well, let's go ahead and read this article, and let's go ahead and see some of the machinations, right? The systematic things that have been set up to make people fall away from religion, right? It starts off, it says, America's faith in organized religion continues to trend down at an accelerated rate. A new poll from Gallup shows, for the first time since the public opinion polling company began asking questions in 1937, the number of Americans who view themselves as member of a church, synagogue, or mosque has plunged below 50%. Keep in mind, in 1937, when Gallup first asked the question, 73% went to church, synagogues, or mosque. America is losing its religion, and this trend of a more secular state has been accelerating since the dot-com burst, the early 2000s. The poll found 47% of Americans said they were a part of a church, synagogue, or mosque, down from 50% in 2018 and 70% in 1999. Right? And when we look at these charts, man, it shows you right here. It says, let's read it. It says church membership among U.S. adults below 50%. And you can see that starting at that red line, the year 2000, it really started to go down. Now, why is that? Well, like they said, man, during the dot-com burst bubble, right, when the internet came into play, you had information increase across the world, right? And just like the Bible prophesied that in the last days, information and knowledge would increase, this is exactly what's happening, man. People are waking up to religion, and people are starting to become more spiritual, right? But they're becoming less religious. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Unfortunately, the truth of the Bible is actually still hidden from the majority of these people, right? And that's because ultimately the Lord has rejected many of the people out there in the world today, right? Because really the Lord is only dealing with a particular race of people, that being the Israelites, the Negro, Latinos, Native Indians. And out of those people, he's only dealing with 1/3 of them, okay? Plus the 144,000 elect that he's chosen to bring back in this time to teach this truth, to be out there trying to wake up his 1/3 people, and ultimately they'll succeed, right? Ultimately, we'll get these teachings out there, either by as they say, crook or by hook. This information's got to go out, right? And that's because it's a prophecy. It tells you that before the end comes, that this truth will be taught throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, as this truth is also going out, the truth about a lot of the wickedness and just corruption of these man-made religions, from Catholicism, Christianity, Protestantism, Judaism, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Scientology, all these man-made religions, Islam, Buddhist, Shinduism, even Satanism, man, all this truth is starting to go out, man, and people are starting to see that a lot of these corporations, a lot of these movements, a lot of these doctrines are ultimately false, right? Now, there are still people falling for it, man. Just the brother, austere man, one of the brothers from the Chicago camp, recently made a video, man, showing that down, I believe in Peru, they're making even larger statue of Christ, man, right? Like bigger than the one that's I think it's in Brazil, right? And the thing is, they're using the image of Cesare Borgia, of all things, man. So those people have heavy fucking demons on them, man, right? So the point being is that ultimately, this is why the religion has been plummeting, man, is because people are waking up to the truth of what religion actually is. And why is that? Well, like this image that I just showed you, man, it's because of these devils right here. These devils right here, man. From Joel Osteen's fucking fake Edomite ass with his fucking multiple Ferraris and his billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar homes, to devils like T.D. Jakes and Nathaniel Satan. Because even in this Hebrew Israelite movement, man, you're gonna have sellout false prophets, man. Right? You had Comfy or Tazadakia, this devil here in the lower right, man, who came out with his own fucking action figure, man. Didn't look shit like him, man. But you got people like Yohana, Bubble Eyes, or Rakah, as his name is, and you got people like Bakwash, man, out there mocking this truth, man, basically making this truth into a proverb, man, basically misleading people. But besides them, man, on a whole, right, you have people like all these false religious leaders throughout time, even people of the New Age movement that are coming out now, from Oprah Winfrey, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, all these people, man, out there just to get this money. Because ultimately, man, this right here is what it's all about, man. $82.5 billion, man, a year. That's how much money is on the table for these devils to take, man. And they're taking, and they're living deliciously off of the backs of you simpleton people out there, man. Off the simple people of this world, man, right? And it all started with the Vatican, right? When the Vatican co-opted the beliefs of the Bible and they merged them in with the pagan beliefs of the ancient pagan Rome establishment, man. And that still continued from today, because the majority of these religious organizations all stem from the Vatican, man. Okay, and they're pushing of idols, man. So that being said, let's get back to that article. The gradual decline of American losing their religion began in the 50s and rapidly accelerated in the early 2000s. America's unique combination of wealth, status quo power, and worship during the 20th century appears to be unraveling in the 21st century. The obvious question that comes to mind is, what the hell happened around the dot-com bust? Perhaps the shift away from organized religion is due to millennials. Polling data found membership at a house of worship correlation with age, with older Americans more likely to attend church, synagogue, or mosque than younger generations. Since the early 2000s, the percentage of Americans who don't associate themselves with religion has increased from 8% in 1998 to 2000 to 13% in 2008, 2010, and 21% since 2017. As millennials come to age and in the next couple of years will dominate the workforce, and the loss of religion will undoubtedly continue triggering a religious crisis for organized religious institutions. Indeed, as the society-wide shift in ideals and beliefs occur, as the millennial generations take power, their taste for organized religion sours. There are a couple of major trends driving the plunge in faith in organized religion. Millennials with no religious preference are soaring above all other generations, and religious membership is plunging among the youth. In fact, membership continues to decline across all generations, but millennials are increasing faster. And here you go. Look, this shows you, look at all these lines, right? The green represents the traditionalists. Those are the really old people, right? The blue are the baby boomers. Like the people are in their 50s, 60s right now. Generation X would be like your 40s to 50-year-olds, and the millennials are people from like their 30s all the way to like the youth right now, man. And you see, ultimately, man, because the generations of now, besides them being bombarded with propaganda, with status propaganda, which ultimately, when you understand the way Esau is moving this political system, he's ultimately making a non-religious believing generation. Okay, this is just how the communist system works, man. They want to remove all religious entities. This is why in China they removed all that. they removed all the houses of worship when the Chinese communist system came in, and they continue to remove the Christian communist or the Christian houses of worship till today. This is why the whole Islamic Uyghur genocide is happening in China. Well, over here in America, they're a little bit more slick, right? They use propaganda, and also they're using this whole revealing of how wicked the Catholic Church with these pedophiles are, and they're pushing that across the media, man. This is why it's okay to bash religion, but it's not okay to bash like the Alphabet Group, right? And this is because ultimately down the road, these devils want to turn this society into an atheistic society, because once they turn it into an atheistic society, it's easier to bring through the Luciferian doctrine, which these devils are planning to make a worldwide institution or new world order out of, okay? Now, they can't do that with the older generations who have been, brought up with Christianity and religion, because they were taught a particular way to believe a certain thing, and also they were, more naive. The newer generations, like I said, besides them being bombarded with all this propaganda to hate religion, they're also smarter, right? Sorry to sound so blunt, but the younger generations, they are quicker on the uptake with technology and information intake. Okay, they can't farm, or they can't do a lot of the things that older generations can do, and that's just because of the what they have been exposed to, man, right? So, but it doesn't mean that one generation is better than the other. It just means that this generation coming up, the millennials, they're suited for different things, namely for more the higher end knowledge, right? This is why computers come easy to them and whatnot. Now, that being said, right, this right here is all leading to a collapse in the belief of religion across the world, right? That, along with all the corruption, all the misleading, and all the mishandling by these religious houses, instead of teaching them the truth of the Bible, they've been teaching them lies, man. They've been teaching them prosperity doctrines, man. Because that's ultimately what these false prophets are, man. They're all prosperity pimps, man. They make everybody believe that things are going good, right? And this is actually talked about here, Micah. We're going to read this whole thing, Micah 3:1. And I said, "Hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob," which is Israel, the Negro Latino Native Indians, "and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck out their skin from off them, and their flesh from off their bones?" Right, and this is ultimately talking about the leaders that are leading our people today, man. The Al Sharptons, these people, man. These devils here, man. These are the people who are leading our people today, man. Now, unfortunately, you got a lot of people of other nations who are leading our people, because our nation, the Israelites, the Negro Latino Native Indians, don't understand that we have enemies amongst the other nations, right? But these are the devils who are misleading our people, who are peeling the flesh off of our people, right? Because when you get back into Ezekiel, when it talks about the valley of dry bones, that's talking about the nation of Israel, man. That's talking about how we as a nation are dead, man, are dead, and when somebody dies, their bones are their bodies just stays there and decays away, right? And all that's left are bleached bones. Well, that's ultimately what happened to the nation of Israel. We were left as a pile of bleached bones in this valley of death that we live in, man. And we are expected to live that way, man, to not know who we truly are, to hear that we are simply savages who have been socialized and civilized, right? And to accept our new role in the society as its servants, man. That's our role, man. But and it continues here. It says, verse 2, "Who hate the good and love the evil," right? This is the leaders of our people, "who pluck off their skin from off them." That's talking about how these leaders remove that skin that the Lord is putting it back onto us, man. Our true identity. They say, "No, you're not the Israelites. No, you don't worry about what these Hebrew Israelites are telling you. Just continue to believe in baby Jesus, man." That's what these people do, man. That's removing our identity, man. "And their flesh from off their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skins from off them. And they break their bones and chop them into pieces, as for the pot and as flesh within the cauldron. Then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he shall not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. Right? And this is ultimately the TD Jakes, the Creflo Dollars, all these people, man, who have called themselves religious leaders, man, who are lying to our people, man, out there talking about, it's not about lineage. It's about, what did TD Jakes say, man? All the bullshit that guy says, man, right? Trying to bring Esau into the covenant, right? Trying to say that, the Bible isn't saying what it's saying, right? That's ultimately what these devils are doing, man. And they're ultimately they're gonna call out to the Lord, and the Lord's not gonna hear them, man. He's gonna actually hide themselves from them, man, right? Verse 5: Thus saith the Yahweh Bashim Ashai concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry, peace, and he that putteth not into their mouths, they even prepare war against them. And that's exactly what's happening, man. You had TD Jakes come out, man, saying that what are you saying? That basically he's down with the alphabet group, man, saying that it's okay for homosexuals to come into the truth, to the Bible, man. Now that's bullshit, right? That tells you that that's a sin unto death. Now those people can be saved by being converted and by straightening themselves out and removing and asking the Lord to remove those demons off of them, man, removing their homosexual traits. But that's a heavy ass demon, and that's the Lord can do it, but those people aren't going to repent, right? So that being said, man, that's what these devils do, man. This continues, it says, Therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, and ye shall not divine, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. Right? Because this is ultimately the darkness coming over these houses of worship, man, these false houses of worship, these whore houses, man. Right? The Creflo Dollars, man, is no longer going to be able to stroll through those stairs full of money. Right? That's going to be darkness onto his ass, man. The Lord's going to ultimately shut down these devils' businesses, man, because that's ultimately what these mega churches are, man. They're basically just businesses to make profit off of a lot of naive people out there, man. Right? And you're already seeing that the Lord is visiting these other Hebrew Israelite camps, man. The Sakari group, the IUIC, right? They're out there, calling upon the Father, right, and Jesus Christ and all that crap, man. You see, and then you also had them and ISUPK have a shout match, so it only shows you, man, that little by little the Lord is going to start destroying these false prophets that are coming, man, who are destroying the belief in people, man, who are making them prime and ripe for the taking by Satan, man. Verse 7: Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of God. Right? And that's ultimately going to be just the downfall of these false prophets, man. The things that they are going to say, that they're saying now, man, that they're going to get through this, that God's on their side. Like, it's going to be very obvious that they're lying, man. Right? This is why ultimately they can't come up against what we're saying here, from the One West schools, man. Right? About how the Hebrew Israelite truth is the truth of the Bible, man. How the Negro, Latino, Native Indians, how we are the true Israelites, man. They can't combat that. So what do? They hire devils like Vocab Malone and all these other agents out there to try to confound us, man. But ultimately, those people fail because you can't come up against the truth, man. You can't do nothing but the truth, but for the truth, okay? Verse 9: Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity, right? the heads there judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets therefore divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord, and say, Is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest. Right? And ultimately that's what's going to happen to these houses of worship, man. These whorehouses, man. All these businesses and all these, church for profits, man. These mega churches are all going to crumble, and they're all going to be taken down, right? And they're all going to be found to be liars, man. And the people who are led by these churches, man, they're all going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be plowed as a field, like it tells you in the scripture, man. That people are going to basically come ultimately to these pastors and find and basically start asking them, man, why have they been lying? Why are they not able to answer any of the questions that are posed by the Hebrew Israelites, man? And ultimately people are going to be pissed off at these pastors because they're going to find out that they've been being lied to this whole time, and the pastors aren't going to have any information, right? But that being said, there's people who are already starting to realize this shit, man, and this is why it's these newer generations, these younger generations that are starting to fall away from the church faster, man, right? And you can just see right here, it shows you the demographics of the memberships, how they've fallen, right? And look, it's higher amongst women, right? Also, it's higher amongst liberal Democrats, right? People in the East, right? Why is that? Because ultimately the people on the liberal side, they're being bombarded with this whole free love, Satanist, LGBT, propaganda, man, and they're actually falling away faster because they're believing that is their truth, man. So let's continue. It says, so the next question, why are millennials losing faith faster than all other generations? Well, maybe the American dream is getting married, buying a home with a white picket fence, having kids, attending church or temple, and having a stable career is unattainable for the young generation, as they're bound by a ball and chain to insurmountable student loans, credit card debt, auto loans, and crappy jobs. As America's youth slip away from organized religion, the past traditions, maybe this is a symptom of a dying country. The much larger question of the sudden loss of religion is the social ramifications this may have for the country as a secular state could be in the making, right? So just like I said, man, Esau is a cunning hunter, man, and he ultimately is programming the newer generations to not follow religion because he has that new world order, one world religion based off of Luciferian doctrine. He has that, in the bleachers, man, ready to be rolled out, man, once they bring out the new world order, man. So that along with all the years and decades and centuries of just corrupt false religion being pushed upon the people, right, that ultimately is why there's such a big falling away now, man, right? And now too, that because this truth is coming out, man, people are starting to find out that church is a bunch of bullshit, man, because it tells you right in the Bible that you are not to be going to church, man. You should not, that Lord is not found in temples made by hands, right? And that ultimately church should just be you reading the Bible, okay? That's the truth of the matter, right? And that you should seek out the leadership by the true leaders of Israel, that being the apostles of Great Millstone and the other prophets of Great Millstone that are out here on YouTube and on the streets teaching the Bible directly, man. We're not doing it for money. We're simply doing it because we have been commanded to, and we want to do what the Lord has commanded us to do. So hopefully this video was edifying, Akim. Until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.